What's going on, everyone? I'm Jumpy,
I'm Jay.
and welcome back to another episode of PvE. It's February 2nd, 2017. I almost said January.
I mean, we're not
God
that
damn
far
it.
off.
Bro, it's crazy. The first month's already over.
I know, right? I feel like
Fucking
it took forever, though, man. I just
really?
learned how to put 2017 on papers.
True facts.
Right?
Actually, I don't write. I don't write anything with my hands anymore, though. So I think I'm still used to the computer telling me, "Oh, it's 2017," so it'll do it for me.
Right. Enter. Thank you.
Enter. Yeah, keep moving. Keep moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, 2016 is over. 2017 has blessed us with a pretty good start video game wise. Got a nice little treat in Resident Evil 7.
Yes, it was.
It's over. That's the sad thing about a lot of these single player games. You play them, you enjoy them, and then they're gone now. Like like February has come and Resident Evil is in the rearview mirror, and I'm like, I just got it.
Hey, but we did it for what, 12 and a half hours, right?
Yeah, that's because we kind of stretched it though.
Yeah. And then I'm really upset because we didn't get a gun, man.
Oh, we'll get into that in a second. Just I guess spoiler alert. I'm not throwing the horn on right now. Should I? Oh, God damn it! All right.
You already mentioned it. Now you have to hit the horn.
No, I'm not hitting the horn. I'm not hitting the horn. So spoiler alert. If you haven't played the game or you don't want to know about any of these other things that are out there for your second playthrough, turn away now. Come back once you're done, please. Thank you.
Or just get spoiled. I mean, whatever. I already played it. I don't care.
Way to think about the fans.
That's what they're here for. They know we spoil shit.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't think we ever put out any spoiler-friendly episodes. We always like, yeah, fuck
Dude,
it.
because we can't. Because we're too erratic. We just be like, yeah, well, the guy just died. So, I mean, oh, you weren't supposed to say that. All right, edit it in the back. And then by the time we're done, there'll be no editing. You're like, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck this. We're putting it out as is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that's true. But yeah, so we're here to talk Resident Evil 7. We'll get into something else, I guess, closer to the end of the show. But, the main focus for this relatively short show, because we don't really plan on making this one a huge long episode, but just kind of give you guys our thoughts on RE7, if we think that it actually took the franchise a step in the right direction, if it completely made the same mistakes as 5 and 6, maybe somewhere along the middle, just to kind of give you our thoughts. And I guess we'll start with you, Jay. Would you give us the short and sweet, and maybe we'll kind of just go from there.
All right, short and sweet. So in minute 1 of the game, no. So the
bomb. I'm gonna edit in just an explosion, just a bombing joke. Go ahead.
In the game was like we weren't expecting it to be super replayable, right? It does have some replayability as far as like if you want to play it in a way that just most people do not want to be abused in. Like if you like Dark Souls, you're probably gonna like the hardest setting Madhouse. I don't know if I told you, I put it on for a little bit.
You didn't.
Oh yeah, and I'm like, damn, this is interesting. Like I like what changed in it, but I'm like, am I really gonna fight through this entire thing? I think I could beat it, but it would require a lot of deaths.
So what's different, just for those who don't know?
What's different? The amount of enemies and where they are. Okay, so literally, they do not give you any ammo. You're so like up shit's creek without a paddle. It's so bad. And you just do not have enough ammunition to actually kill everyone they throw in front of you. Like in normal, right? We could always beat the bad guys. Like we could always take them out and not have to worry about them later. Until like they spawn the next sets or whatever.
Sure.
It's not possible here. It's just not. Just learn how to run around them and then have to like revisit them every time you go by that area. But you're not killing them all. There's just not enough ammo. And you don't have the endurance to actually slash them with your knife and walk out alive because like one hit sometimes will kill you. So
I've also heard that Jack was a lot more effective as a stalker.
Beady. Yeah. I didn't notice that. Probably, I just don't feel the difference in the stalking. Probably because I'm like running like as fast as I can, anyways. And when he catches me, I'm just like, how the fuck did he catch me? And I did that anyways, so I didn't notice him being any faster. I try not to look at his eyes. I think if you look at the eyes, that's when he gets you.
Well, you did a pretty good job. If anyone checked out the stream, I think one or two of you may have, because we saw some random viewers pop in and out. But if you didn't, next time make sure to check out our stream at twitch.tv/PvE podcast. We plan on streaming a lot more of these up and coming games, I guess on a more consistent basis. But either way, if you were checking out the stream, you pretty much saw Jay being relatively good at avoiding Jack, except for that one boss battle.
One time.
That one boss battle with his chainsaws. Yeah, you fucking
and then you
suck
see
at
Jump
that.
Almost dying to him every time he was stalking him.
Yo, well, no one saw me because I wasn't streaming, but still, like, you're right. I couldn't get away from this guy. Like, he fucking breaking through walls to fucking get me. Like, it was great. We were playing, the way we played the game was a little unique to some extent, where we started at the same time. We tried to go through, like, the main milestones together. Yeah, one of us got a little bit ahead, or one of us got, a little behind, and we would always kind of catch up and wait for each other. So it was fun and interesting because along the way, I guess what I noticed was we play the game very differently and we find things very differently. Jay has a ton of stupid luck, like a ridiculous amount of just sheer ignorant luck where go ahead. You were trying to run away from one of the molded, just to give an example. He was trying to run away from one of the molded and he backed into like a secret area with what was in there? It was one of those rotating.
It was a
statues.
chest, and it had like steroids or stabilizer in there or something.
Yeah. Oh God.
I solved that one too.
You did, because you were randomly looking at an axe. You're like, oh my God, the axe looks like a 7. But
so yeah, this is one of those where like I'm literally fighting a licker outside, and I'm
molded
terrified.
Liquor. Close enough.
Molded liquor, whatever. I think it's a combination of the two. They didn't really reinvent the wheel on it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like terrified. I'm backing away from him, and I end up in this like spot where like they have one of those monuments where, well, I don't know if people haven't actually played it, but there's a monument that you place an object on, and you have to line it up with the lighting.
Podium?
Yeah, podium. What did I say?
Monument. Yeah, close enough, I guess.
Whatever.
But yeah, go on. Whatever, semantics.
Yeah, podium, where you put this object and there's a shadow that you have to create that matches what's on an image. And we were like, oh, I guess that's something we have to get later. And we go into the container where you keep the storage container where you keep all your stuff. And I'm like looking down the list, and I'm like, okay, the axe, like, what is this axe for? It's a dummy axe. It's not a real axe. And I pick it up, and it's like literally in a 7 position when I examine it. And I'm like, wait, no. I go outside, Jump's watching my stream, and I start lying at him. He's like, no fucking way. Like, what?
Oh, okay. God.
He's like, I'm just mad that I've had it in my inventory and I didn't think of that.
Yo, I'm telling you, this man has the dumbest fucking luck. Like, everything about his experience is just... Watching him play, it was like... I don't even know. Like, it was frustrating to watch sometimes. But either way.
And there was another one, right, where you found a crate and you could see it through like this wall, and you're like, dude, should I shoot at it? And you shoot it, and you're like, oh, that's a waste of ammo. It actually didn't even break. And I'm still searching inside. He waited for me, and then I get outside and I find this like this.
You found an herb, and then you went to like the right into the bushes.
Right. I was just scanning the area, like the perimeter of the house, and I see just A pop up, and the guy, he moves a panel and goes there, and he's like, dude, that's the box that I saw. I'm like, oh yeah, hey, look, you saw it from over there.
I was so salty. I was so fucking salty. Oh God, they got me all types of heated. But regardless, the main point being that we played it very differently. It was actually very cool to see someone play one of these single player games, just because I never watched anyone else really play. So it was kind of cool to see how they approach things differently. And I can't run away from Jack. Like,
Oh,
so I
not
can
at
only
all.
imagine how difficult it's going to be for me on Madhouse, especially with limited ammo, because I used a lot of ammo to try and separate myself from him. So
I
hopefully,
heard from other people that it's actually really easy to block and counter the molded with a knife, and on normal at least. And playing like this, your block actually does a lot. Apparently, like I don't know about you, but I rarely use my block. Period. Like to me, it was like, oh, what's the point? Like I'm gonna get hit anyways. It's gonna suck. But no, like I guess it really cuts down the damage, which I wish I knew before. But
I don't think I blocked for anything.
I know.
Like not a single thing. Like I think I blocked by mistake when trying to heal myself.
Yep. 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 By the way, animation cancel. You can animation cancel that healing thing because he takes so long once he like pours it on that you get hit again, and there was no point to it. So you can animation cancel by after hitting the heal button to hit the block button, and it's all done. Other than
Huh.
that, I mean, the game was really fun. I have like no gripes with that game. It
I have some gripes.
it
I have some
well,
gripes.
yeah, I'm getting there, but it was kind of short. That's my major issue with it. And the puzzles. It was missing in the puzzle department, which is what I really, really wanted. But looking back, it's like the puzzles that were there were fun. There just wasn't any real critical thinking, which I remember
Yeah, it was just
having to do in the
rotated image.
past.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. When you compare this game to Resident Evils of the past, it definitely lacks in length, replayability, puzzles, and the variety in enemies.
And I told you my theory on why I think that it's so simple, right? I think I told you.
Yeah,
Well,
you told me, but tell the fans.
yeah, I'm assuming, okay, so it's been a long time since we've seen a Resident Evil that had the puzzles and had the problem solving that this one has, right? You kind of got to reintroduce the people into it. You have many new people who are like born after the Resident Evils of the past that have no idea how this genre actually works. So you got to reintroduce people into it and get their minds like working and them actually interested in doing these puzzles. If you throw like these really difficult things into a game that people haven't seen in years or haven't played ever and just being introduced to it, they're likely to just put it down and be like, that's like I want to actually play a game, not spend time solving puzzles. But I can see them
I
in
feel like
future
they could have made it
DLCs
just
adding more.
just a little bit harder.
Yeah,
Like rotating a fucking it was okay the first time. If that was one of the early puzzles to have to rotate one of the statues,
yeah,
fine. But it was the same puzzle over and over and over and over and over again. There were a few variations in it, like I guess closer to the end, but the puzzles were kind of consistently the same,
yeah,
which was kind of annoying because Resident Evil usually did a pretty good job of mixing it up, right? Variety was a very important thing, in
yeah.
my opinion, at least in Resident Evils 0, 1, 2, and 3. 4 kind of, 5 and 6 don't really exist in my opinion. They were terrible.
My favorite is Survivor.
Get out. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
I'll see
Which
my
is
way
funny.
out.
Which is funny though. Funny that you bring that up because it's the only other first
First person
person
shooter.
exact
Yeah.
or first person Resident Evil, right?
Yeah.
And they are I think they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. I personally think this is one of the stronger Resident Evils. I would say it's up like above average kind of
Dude,
ranking,
the
and
first
Survivor's way down there.
Yeah, Survivor did the tackiest thing. Like they showed you that the rounds that you had in your clip or your chamber or whatever on the screen itself.
Magazine?
Yeah, no, well, magazine if you're running that type of weapon. I'm just saying in general, like clip, mag, chamber, everything, whatever.
I
They
never
showed
played. I
you.
don't even know what type of guns. I thought they was all handguns.
No, they had shotguns and
No,
they
well,
had,
that goes to show how far I played that fucking game.
but they show you the shells and everything on the screen for what you actually had. I'm like, what is this, an arcade? Like, what's the point of
I
that?
think that's the direction they were trying to go with, like an arcade game.
Wow.
Because when you play the Resident Evil
Somebody got
arcade
fired.
games, right? It's like that.
Yeah.
It's just like that. So
it made me think of Time Crisis. I wasn't down with that.
Time fucking Crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely areas to improve upon, which is tough because 7 obviously has DLC that's gonna follow. There's a season pass which I think is what, $30-$40
Yeah.
around that, and then there's one free DLC that's already out for PlayStation 4 owners, and then PC and Xbox get it about a month later, near the end of February.
Right.
Which is bullshit, but whatever. It is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't complain because I benefited from Call of Duty getting early DLC for Xbox, 3 Call of Duties ago? So
what I'm curious of is how they will tie the DLCs in. Is it worth replaying the entire game, or just starting from like how are you gonna play it? Can you just go to the DLC as a separate entity from the regular game itself?
I think it's a different story.
Yeah.
I think they're all different stories that fall within a much bigger kind of story arc. Right? I think it's still going to be focused on the Baker household, but just like different periods of time. Like if I'm not mistaken, the one that's on PS4, the DLC that came out early on PS4, focuses on Redfield, which I assume is Chris Redfield, but he's not as jacked as he was before.
Yeah, but that's the whole anime style that they went for a long time, where they had everyone jacked up.
Okay, so if that's Chris Redfield, then interesting, because he might be a part of Umbrella.
If it's not, confusing, because he looks like he would be.
Yeah, right? Because I'm like, you look like Chris Redfield, only
but you
like
don't
lankier
at the same time.
You're like super lanky, and you just popped out of an Umbrella helicopter.
Yeah.
Like I'm so confused. So I hope that DLC does provide that kind of explanation to fill that gap.
It's just what would be interesting to me is if they tied it in with the VHS tapes that they had been doing. It'd be pretty cool if all of a sudden you found another VHS tape that once you watch, all of a sudden things changed in the house the way that they
did in
before.
The demo.
Yeah.
You're actually that's a good point. I was talking to Drew the other day. Shout out to Drew from the Phoenix podcast. That was a terrible horn. You want to try that again?
So shout out.
Oh, you said God damn it. He made that same point that pretty much there was an expectation set in the demo where there's going to be a little bit more of a paranormal twist. There's going to be a little bit more of kind of a bleed between the VHS and reality, where in Resident Evil the beginning hour, if you found a lockpick and unlocked a cabinet or a drawer, that same cabinet or drawer would be unlocked in the real world. So I agree with you, and I agree with both of you, that there was an expectation set, and it kind of fell through on that. And it kind of misled people.
The paranormal part.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people came into this game thinking that, okay, it's going to be kind of like the demo, and it really wasn't. I'm not saying it's a bait and switch. I personally still enjoyed the game, but I can definitely see if someone makes the argument that they felt a little misled.
Sure. No, like it didn't come to mind up until right now when you said all the paranormal stuff, because like there was a ghost. It was a ghost. Now, question: was that ghost Mia?
I don't think it was Mia. It was the little girl. What was her name? Fuck.
No, Evelyn. It wasn't Evelyn, because Evelyn was the old lady, right?
No, but I think that was younger. Like, I don't know, like a younger apparition of Evelyn.
Yeah, that would make sense because she could get into your head because it was like a whole network in her head. She was a hive, blah blah blah. Okay, I guess I'm buying that. Cool.
Yeah, that's kind of how I
would have loved to see that throughout the game.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Just freaked me out a bunch,
Well, I guess kind of taking that in a slightly different direction, having the paranormal stuff would have added some variety. Having different types of enemies would have added some variety. And I get it. The Bakers are probably a small fish in a very large pond or lake or ocean that is the entire Resident Evil story. But still, when you look at past Resident Evils, let's name off what we know, right? There's the zombies, the regular zombies. There's tyrants. There's Nemesis.
Yep.
There's lickers. There's the hunters. The hunters are the reptilian ones, right?
Yep.
The ones that look at giant lizards. There's
the dogs, the crows.
Was it the Cerberus? The Cerberuses? Cerberus are
Those
the
are
dogs.
the dogs.
Oh, those are the dogs. The crows, the giant mutated snakes, giant mutated earthworm. Was it a worm in Nemesis? In the graveyard?
It looks something like a worm.
A
It was
worm?
much
Yeah.
fatter, but I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. So the point being that there was a huge variety of enemies in Resonance 0, 1, 2, 3. 4 was kind of the turning point where they went in the direction of like very I guess a very limited amount or a very limited variety of enemies, because
4 was on GameCube, right?
Yeah, 4 was on
Okay.
GameCube. It
Leon.
was the one with with Leon, and it's when you shot them. I forgot. I wish I had this on me, but it was the that parasite that would have like all the tentacles that come out of its head.
Out of their head.
Yeah. But when you played the game more and more, there was some variety to it, and there's some variety, but it wasn't as much as the other games, right?
Right.
5, I think it was. Shit,
Well,
I don't even remember.
their mouths would mutate in 5, I think. Like, their whole mouth would open up and it'd be like some crazy shit.
Same thing though, right? Like, okay, there's a mutation to the person, right?
And wasn't it in Africa? That was in Africa.
It was in Africa. That was in Africa. That was the one that everybody started screaming racism because there was a white guy slaughtering black people.
Right. It's Asians who wrote the game, by the way.
Hey, man. I'm going to step away from that whole argument. I got no fucking time for that shit. 6 was, again, I don't even fucking remember. The point being that this felt a little bit more consistent with 4, 5, and 6 in the way that the enemies, in the enemies that were kind of presented to you. The molded are an interesting idea, but I felt like for something that has that name, right, the molded, I feel like they should have taken more shapes. We only really saw 2.
So let's go over the enemies, right?
3.
We had the standard molded. We had the upgrade molded with the shield arm. Yeah,
I almost look at him as like a tyrant variant.
Yeah.
Right? Because the tyrant would always have that giant claw arm. Yep. And, and he had the fangs.
Okay.
Or did the original one have the fangs to the basic model?
Not sure. I don't
regardless.
remember fangs. Yeah. Next, we have the liquor molded.
Yeah, the liquor style molded.
They're the crawly ones that move really fast.
Yeah, except they didn't have the tongue.
Right, except
they didn't have a range attack. It was just more of like
lunge at you.
Yeah, they're quick. They were agile, and they could move around.
Yeah, double shotgun is your best friend against those. Pretty easy to get headshots on any of them, honestly. The double shotgun was the best. Other than that, we have the swarm. The swarm enemy. It was a bunch of bugs that swarmed you. And they came out of a hive. And then there was the fly enemy, which was like a big ass fly that would bother you. I think that's the extent. Oh, there were spiders, right? There were spiders that you couldn't get into a door with or into a locker with until you burned them off. What else was there? We had Jack, we had Marguerite, and we had Evelyn. Is there any other enemy that you could think of? Because I honestly think I named them all.
No, I think that was it. I mean, you had the individual members of the Baker family, other than the mastermind. Fuck, what's his name again?
Bro, I have no idea what his name is, but I'm really upset.
I want to know.
We didn't face him.
There was any closure to that. I mean, I guess that's another pain point. But yeah, in terms of the enemies, way too shallow, man. We definitely deserved more in terms of more molded variations.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And then speaking of the brother, I guess I could see why there was an expectation set that we were going to be able to resolve him, like kill him off, right?
Yeah, because closest to the end, even after we got past his area, there were still containers that were blowing up, which were his like trademark, But
yeah, it smelled of him, but he wasn't there. Like, it was weird. Like, we beat Jack, we beat Marguerite. We move on. The next thought would have been like, all right, we're gonna take out the brother or the son, whatever. Sorry, the son,
the fatty moldeds.
Oh yeah, the acid spewing ones, like the
Yeah.
boomers in Left 4 Dead.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, so you would think, okay, there should be some closure to his story because that's kind of the way the game has been progressing. And then we jump to whether you pick Eve or wife's name. What's her name again?
Zoe. Mia or Zoe.
Or Mia or Zoe. Why did I say Eve?
I don't know. You weren't playing the same game as me.
Yo, I'm fucking tired of shit from work, so excuse me. Yeah, if you pick Mia or Zoe, I think you still end up on the ship and you still go through that whole thing to fight against what's her face.
Yeah, see, that's why we have to replay it. We still don't know what happens if we pick Zoe at the very end.
Yeah. But what's the little girl's name?
Eve, Evelyn.
Evelyn. Okay, that's probably where I got Eve from. So Evelyn. So it's definitely gonna take some points away for not closing that up, unless they're saving it for DLC. But then
that's why,
it's like that kind of bothers me because then it's like now I'm being pigeonholed into into like fucking buying the DLC because I want to know what happens to him and I want to fucking kill him.
Yep.
He was such a good enemy. He was the best antagonist. I think he was like a really good antagonist in the game. Like,
what if we're not killing him? What if he goes over to the next Resident Evil and we get even better traps and even better puzzles?
No, it needs closure in 7 because I don't see them. I don't think 8 is going to be anywhere related to 7. I think that they may go in the direction of, for at least for a few Resident Evils, where it's like small, like Raccoon City. That incident was huge, right? And all these other incidents have been like kind of small in comparison.
Sure.
Right? They're like, something's happening here and something's happening over there. It's like the idea that like this is so widespread and so different everywhere that at some point they're going to go like, okay, individual story, and then something to maybe close out the story arc. Because I don't think they go past 10, personally. I think Resident Evil 10 kind of ends it. I hope.
I'm sorry, I don't think so at all.
You think they're going to go Resident Evil 11? Resident Evil 14, Resident Evil Forever, Resident Evil, what is it? Whatever the stupid, terrible movie's called?
Successful IP, they don't just let die. It won't happen. It won't. It's Capcom. How long have they been doing?
I could see them going backwards though. Well, they're only on Street Fighter 5 though.
Yeah, shut up. Let's be real. Like, legitimately, 5 by the numbers that they decide to do, but with all the turbos and all the shit in between, they're not just at 5. They've done too much extra shit to just be 5. They know it. But what did you say right before that?
I was saying that Resident Evil 8 won't have anything to do with Resident Evil 7.
Oh, but you said that what if they go backwards and start over, I guess?
Oh, no, not start over. What if they go back and do, like stories from a different perspective or stories from, I don't know, another character in the same story arc in the same time period. So let's say, like...
I guess, but they kind of did that already in the past. I mean, I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 where...
Yeah, like Mercenaries and Resident Evil Revelations and all that other stuff, right?
No, not just that, but in 2, I believe... Which one is it that you jump out of a car that's on fire and you were riding it with another person? You come out as Claire on one side...
Oh, no, not that. Yeah, I guess kind of like that, but maybe not tied to one of the main characters. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just trying to think, like, what else can they keep doing? They can only do the whole, hey, a small town has been impacted by this, evil corporation doing something.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Zombies in space.
Oh, stop. Nope, stop.
What?
Don't take
Resident Evil
Infinite
Warfare. Resident Evil Infinite.
Oh, God.
Come on, man.
Don't ruin BioShock Infinite for me, man, with that fucking bullshit. So there, to me, I think in a nutshell, definitely some areas where they can make some improvements. Definitely something that added more than subtracted from the direction that Capcom was taking the franchise before. I think this taking a step into the true survival horror genre and actually putting out a game that, to some extent, is still kind of scary and not really focus on action and really doesn't require you to do too much action, but really more evasiveness and stealth is kind of key.
Yeah.
I think that's a big win in terms of trying to get people to at least have confidence that they can put something out. Now, in my opinion, Resident Evil 8 has to kind of take it to the next level and do harder puzzles and provide more variety in enemies and kind of just take this foundation that they've built and kind of, again, grow on that, expand on that.
Overall, I love the game, man. This is the first game that I actually streamed through and through from the beginning to the end. I mean, all in all, I'll give it like 7 out of 8 jumpies.
7 out of 8 jumpies?
Yeah.
Oh, are you using the 8 scale right now? Shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck does a 7.5 out of 8, a 7.5, 8 out of 10 equate in 8? Like 6.5, 7 out of 8?
We'll go with that, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those games where for $60 retail, personally, I wouldn't buy it for $60 retail if that's kind of the standard average price of a multiplayer game or like a Fallout game. I would say $30-$40 is fine. If you can find it on sale, get it. But in terms of paying a full $60 retail price, it needed a little more. Honestly, it needed a little bit more length, variety, difficulty in puzzles. I mean, I know we're kind of repeating ourselves at this point, but I think we want to make sure that point is very clear.
It's just that as a single player game, just keep in mind, it could always wait. It can. If you can keep from being spoiled by staying away from podcasts who spoil it or Reddit, because Reddit is the worst place. After game releases, just do not touch Reddit, because that's somebody's happy place. When they discover a game came out and they can spoil it for someone, that gives them so much pleasure, and they do it on Reddit. So stay away from that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, I guess, closing points. Definitely a good game. Definitely a good pickup if you enjoy the survival horror series. I personally put it in, I guess, top middle of the pack. In terms of Resident Evil games, it's definitely no better than 0, 1, 2, or 3. I would put it 0, 1, 2, and 3 are always going to be the best games, just because I actually preferred the fixed camera angles. It built a lot of suspense. I think those games definitely did a lot more in terms of giving you more bang for your buck and more replayability. However, when you compare it to other games that have come out under the Resident Evil,
it leads the pack.
Yeah, it leads the pack. If you really take away those classics and you look at what else is left, this is one of the better Resident Evil games I've played.
And let's look at survival horror as a whole right now. The only other game that has come out in a similar fashion would be The Evil Within. And I'll tell you right now, as far as fear factor, Evil Within takes that without a doubt.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
But the really what I seek is not just to be scared. I look for the puzzles too. You know what I mean? It's the problem solving, how to survive in these circumstances that go further than just how many bullets are in a gun. You know what I mean? And how to get by that. That appeals to me more.
Yeah, a combination of mind and strength, right?
Yep.
I think that definitely does a lot to capture people's attention. Let's also not forget Dead Space. I mean, even though Dead Space 3 completely jumped the shark and did everything that Resident Evil 5 and 6 did for the franchise, Dead Space
1 and 2.
1 and 2 classics.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7 I don't think will ever go down as a classic, but it will go down as a very important pivot in the direction that Capcom is taking this franchise. And if they continue going down this direction, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be very happy to jump back on this ship.
Definitely.
We'd like to hear your thoughts as well. Let us know if you've played the game. Let us know if you agree, disagree. Reach out to us on Twitter at PvE Podcast, or shoot us an email at askpve@gmail.com. Let us know. Do you think this is good, bad? I know some people have been a little harsh on this game just for the very reasons we've discussed. I think as a whole, we're content and happy with what we paid for. But yeah, let us know. And as you guys, mull over and decide whether you wanna pick up this game, we're trying to decide and mull over whether or not we're gonna get year 2 of Rainbow Six Siege, and I think the answer might be yes.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I do. Like, it's the most played game that we have in our library.
Oh
For the
yeah,
last year.
so we definitely didn't do a typical
Year-end
year and year in
roundup.
review. Yeah.
Mhm.
For various reasons, holidays were not
Work,
good at the
life.
whole consistency with this podcast thing, but still, Rainbow Six Siege to me was my 1A and 1B. Actually, well, I think I already talked about this in the last episode. I had 3 games of the year almost for multiplayer, right? Rainbow Six Siege, Doom, and Overwatch. So, with year 2 coming up, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what Ubisoft is going to do. They've done a good job of taking a game that really didn't live up to the expectations that it had set at E3, and it's slowly been adding improvements for free.
Mm-hmm.
To just the UI, to some of the balancing. I mean, they've put a lot of time into this game to try and get it right, even though there are definitely a lot of things they got wrong.
Sure.
So, are we expecting? Do you think we'll get more of that, or do you think year 2 is going to be more of let's get you some more characters, let's get some more revenue, kind of in, so we can take that and make Rainbow Six Siege 2?
What I enjoyed over the past year was the fact that they honestly have been very hard at work at balancing of the game. They didn't get everything right the first time. Every time they introduce new characters, there's balancing to be done, and they never fell short on that. They've kept up with it every single time they release a patch. Here are some updates to make the balancing work better for you guys. I do have some issues, like there's some maps, Favela, that are completely unbalanced when it comes to attack and defense, and it should be taken off the playlist completely. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work, and they said they're going to fix it. I think the only way to fix it is to get rid of it. But if they can make a solution coming soon, great. But we haven't seen it yet, and it's been was that the second to last package? Yeah,
I think so.
It's been a little over 3 or so months now. Just need that fixed. Other than that, I understand that the game that we received wasn't what we had originally anticipated, but they've worked hard to keep us here. I don't think we would have had the time played on this game if they hadn't made the adjustments and the corrections that they did.
Oh no, if it was still day 1 release Rainbow Six Siege, this game would have been behind us.
Right.
Like months ago. But it's well, mind you, I got a really good deal on the season pass for year 1, so there is some bias. Like if someone had to shell out the 60 plus the 30 and they had paid like $90 or more for the game, I could see them being pissed off and kind of turned off by everything. But for what I paid, and for the operators I've been getting, and for the balancing that they've been continuously doing, it kind of reminds me a little bit of what GTA's been doing, with kind of providing that continuous support well after the release of the game, which I think is a good thing. Definitely a good thing. I mean, you still have to pay for some of it, but it's definitely much better than what we've seen with with a lot of other Ubisoft games, where they're just like, yeah, no, we fucked up. All right, let's bring out the next,
Right, let's just put this in the past. Let's just put this behind us. Why can't we move on? Why can't we just move forward? Why are you dwelling on that game? Here's a new one. Complain about this one while we make another one that we're going to half-ass also.
How soon do you want a Rainbow Six Siege 2?
I could do with next year.
Next year?
Yeah. I don't mind. All right, I could see them doing this whole season 2 thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And having a complete off season and then a new game. I hope it's that way, because I don't want it to feel rushed. Like, all right, so season 2, Rainbow Six Siege and Rainbow Six Siege 2.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that happen.
Personally, I'd like. We have year two. Year two gets us through 2018, pretty much. I like 2018 to be like a cool off year. Sure. 2019, we get Rainbow Six Siege 2.
Yep.
With maybe in 2018, we get the teaser in at E3.
E3.
Yeah. Something like that I think would be great. For those who don't know, and I'm actually pulling this up right now just so we can provide this information to everyone. Come on, load GameStop or GameSpot. I'm sorry. You ever made that mistake when trying to type it? GameStop versus Game all the time.
Yes, a lot more when I was younger because GameSpot was a lot more prevalent.
All right, so
nobody cares about GameSpot now. Somehow you still do.
No, well, they put out an article. I was checking out the Twitters. They put out an article that states that Rainbow Six Siege is free this weekend. So for anyone who hasn't played this game and you want a taste of what we've been talking about, for PC, from 1 p.m. Eastern Time through 4 p.m. Eastern Time on February 6th.
And honestly...
I'm sorry, hold on. What? That's such a weird period of time.
Okay.
I think the dates might be wrong on this article because the article says PC from 1 p.m. Eastern Time through 4 p.m. Eastern Time on February 5th, from 1 p.m. Eastern Time through 1 p.m. Eastern Time on February 6th on PS4. This article is wrong. So,
that's GameSpot for you.
I guess, right? Either way, if you want to check out the game, see if you can download it for free this weekend, starting probably tomorrow or Saturday. Definitely worth looking into. It's a great, phenomenal game that we definitely have enjoyed. It's definitely been a sleeper hit.
Keep in mind they've got all the season pass thing, right? But the season pass, all it does is automatically give you the new operators and lets you play the new map a week early. People without the season pass, such as myself for the first season, you had to pay 25,000 renown per character.
And for those who don't know, renown is?
It's the currency, in-game currency that you earn by playing the game and experience.
Yep.
But the map is also free. So overall, Jump ended up paying less for the season pass, but it's worthless to him because he literally only plays Glass as an attacker and Frost as a defender. So he would have been fine. He would have never even had to unlock any other characters because he never touches them.
You know what I mean? So
for people like him, yeah. If you're the type of person who finds what works for you and just doesn't touch anything else, then play the first ones. The game without the season pass. You're not going to need it. If you're like me, I want to try out every single character and kind of use different ones in different situations, then yeah, definitely grab it and not have to worry about earning the renown. It actually does take quite a bit of time to get 25,000 renown. We play it quite regularly, and it doesn't come easy. But honestly, as you're playing, you're not really thinking of that. Eventually, you get there and you just unlock it. Between each season where they introduce characters, not the season, but between because it's all in one season.
I think it's quarters almost. It's every quarter we get.
It is every quarter. It's 4 quarters. So, between the quarters, you have plenty of time to earn the renown. You're not really going to use it for anything else once you unlock the weapons you need and the attachments. So you build it up and you end up unlocking them anyways. So if you don't want to buy the season pass, you don't have to. It's not mandatory. You're not going to get anything extra for it. Maybe camos. Did you ever get camos for it?
No. Well, maybe. I think I did. I think I got a few camos, but irrelevant. Let's put it this way. It's not one of those season passes where it gives you a ridiculous advantage over another player. The game is set up where there are checks and balances where some of those new characters, the new DLC characters, are really good at certain areas. There are people that come in the base game that can completely
make them obsolete.
Yeah, or essentially is the counterpart to that person's, particular ability.
The yin to its yang.
Yeah. So it's definitely worth checking out. Speaking of checking things out, Jay, you have anything else you wanna mention about Rainbow Six Siege before I transition away?
No, I mean, out of all the games in 2016, has to be my favorite. So love the game, and we'd love to know what you guys think of it.
Definitely. And if you're going to check things out, you might want to check out a few of our friends of the show. So big shout outs to the Phoenix Podcast and big shout outs to From the Rafters Podcast. God, that is such a terrible soundbite. Don't ever do that again. Stop. Shut up. Shut up.
All right, I'm done.
But yeah, make sure to check them both out. Big friends of the show. Much love to y'all. Make sure to reach out to us. Check us out on Twitter at PvE Podcast. If you have any questions and comments, shoot us an email at askpve@gmail.com. Check out our stream and follow twitch.tv/PvE Podcast. Check out our Instagram, PvE Podcast. If you have not subscribed to the show yet or want to share it with one of your friends, check out playerversuseverything.net. You'll find your download links for RSS, iTunes, Overcast, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, and YouTube. Until next time, have a good one, guys, and let's go Caps. Let's go
Caps. Let's go.
Peace.